come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Hey! Hi, everybody. I'm Elena Anderson. Nice to see y'all in the comments. I see some names I recognize. I'm looking over here at the comments, so if you're wondering what I'm looking at. My card was the Father's Day Toolbox card that folds down like so. You remember? I see there is a question in the comments from Carlos about was the card made with Cricut and should you bother staying? Yeah. So I think yes, because I mean it is made with a Cricut, but I started out my journey as a traditional card maker, so I am very familiar with, oh good lord, stamping, ink blending, marker coloring, all, you name it, all that good stuff. And one of the things that I am hoping to do in the near future is to start integrating some of those techniques with Cricut cards to give people more of a, I don't know, step up on their Cricut cards, because I love both. And I think that using some of the traditional card making techniques can really make a difference on your Cricut cards. So if you have questions about any of that, I can do my best to answer. I also know a lot about card making in general. So if that helps you, I can answer questions about cardstock, other machines than Cricut, like Silhouette or Scan and Cut, you name it. Oh, and Diane says, love, love, love this card. Thank you. I really like it too. Well, these are my favorite. Like, the pop-up ones are kind of my favorite. And I don't know if you guys saw that I have this one as the freebie, the bonus freebie. If you sign up for my email list, I'm dropping everything. And I did want to mention, now this was a card that I made for Cricut Craft Fest like 2 years ago. And so you might have gotten it then, but I did improve it based on the stuff I did for this one. So if you watch the video, I added score lines to one of the sides to help you with the placement of the inside tabs. I have done that now on this one too. And I added photos to the instructions for this too. So if you already have it, you might want to consider re-downloading the new version because it's a little bit improved. Where do you find the SVG file? There should be a link to it under the video where you can, it's probably a Google Drive link, and then you just download it off of there. But I wanted to, question. Is a file designed for Cricut specifically? It looks weird when opening it in Canvas Workspace. Okay, well, it's not designed specifically for Cricut. It's just an SVG file. But I will tell you that Canvas Workspace, at least in my experience, opens all SVG, every element of an SVG with black fill and no line color. So you have to, one thing that you can do is like select everything and then just change the line color to black and then the fill color to either transparent or white. And then you'll see the different elements. And then you have to go through and either manually change each element to the color you want it to be to help you keep track. Or if you're good at just keeping track anyway, the one thing you definitely have to do is you'll have to change the score lines to like a dashed line pattern, because Scan and Cut doesn't have like a score tool per se. So you have to use the dashed line pattern to just cut little dashes for the score lines so you can still use them as score lines. I hope that makes sense. I know what I mean, but I'm not sure you do. I do not see the link, just a link to get the free pass. Let me take a quick look over here. If you go right under the video, there's like an orange bar and there are 3 pink buttons. One says download Elena's worksheet, download the project file. The project file would be the SVG. And then the freebie would be the Mother's Day card, this guy. So hopefully you see that. Just a real note, here's like a really quick way to make, so this is what an insert card with Cricut, and so kind of blah, I mean, cute, but like not that exciting. But if you just add a little bit of ink blending and some glitter glue, it looks a whole lot better. So there's a way that you can use some traditional card making techniques to improve like just a regular old Cricut insert card. And I have a few others like that I can show you too. Like here's one that's cute, but here's an even better one. Oh, look, Aaron, we're bringing up the page. So if you see that orange bar right there, the worksheet's going to be like the written instructions and the supplies. The project file is the actual SVG file. And then the freebie is going to be this card. But you do have to sign up for my email list to get that. So hopefully that helps. And here's another version of just adding a little bit of ink blending to a regular old Cricut insert card to help improve the way it looks. And here's my third and final one of these. Like insert cards, like I think some insert cards are cool. I mean, that's very detailed all on its own. But like, I just like to zhuzh them up. I can't help it. It's my traditional card making background. So like I have to add in a little bit of marker, a little bit of sequins, a little bit of glitter stuff, to just zhuzh it up. So if you're interested in trying Cricut cards, those are easy. You can always integrate the two families together. And Jean says, I've had my Cricut for a few years, but I'm so intimidated by using print and cut. Yeah, I get that. Initially, it does seem very intimidating, especially because you have to, well, often, it depends. If you upload something that's a JPEG, then it's already flattened for you. But if you're going to do print and cut out of something that's more like a layered SVG, like the tools on this little guy, you have to flatten everything first. And that's just kind of you got to remember that step. And that's at the bottom of the layers panel. But then generally it's really easy. You just have to make sure your printer is going to print nicely. That's often the toughest part. And then when you go to that, when you go to the make button and then the screen comes up with the mat with the print and cut, you have to just make sure that everything's within that red border. And now it even says like cuttable area. So you just can't go outside. And the corners are the weird part where it kind of goes zigzaggy. You just can't go over those red lines because that's on the corners where the sensors are. It's for the machine to see the print and cut. And if you're a Joy user, I'm a big Joy, Cricut Joy. I used to do a summit called Create with Cricut Joy, where we just did Joy projects because I love the little machine and I have very limited space. So I like having the small machines. And so I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, which is Black Sheep 303 Crafts. So it's YouTube/Black Sheep 303 Crafts or youtube.com. That has a workaround for print and cut that is updated for the new version. They did change Cricut Design Space a couple of years ago to make it harder to do, but you can do it. It's not super simple. So if you have a machine that supports print and cut, I think it's a lot easier to go down that road, honestly. And the Joy Extra is my absolute favorite machine. So can both of the box cards be made? Yes, I made them on the Joy Extra. So, well, I made this one on the Joy Extra, the Father's Day one. And actually all of them can, both the Mother's Day and the Father's Day can be made on the Cricut Joy. You just need a 12-inch long mat. Because the pieces are short, like skinnier. Well, okay, there was an issue with this one, but if you go to the freebie page on my website, I have an extra tutorial that shows like extra steps for the Joy to actually be able to cut out this box to make it small enough so the Joy can do it. If that helps. Because the flap on the top makes it too tall for the Joy to cut it, but there's a way you can eliminate the flap. So let's see what else. I have freebies. Yes, I do. I have a resource library on my website. You do have to be a member of my email list to get the password. So there's my website. You can join my email list by just signing up for the freebie, signing up for my giveaway, or across the top of my website, I have like the 5 best tools for making your electronic cutting machine crafts quicker. And you can get that handout for free too. You just sign up through that form as well. Total, lots of choices. Now, my resource library, I'll be honest, is not like packed full of stuff the way some people's are, like Jennifer Maker or people like that. I'm just not that fast a creator. I wish I were, but there are a few free cards and quite a few free sublimation designs and just fun stuff for Christmas and things like that. So, oh, my earring's going nuts. So if you're looking for free stuff in my style, and also I do have an Etsy store. I need to one of my goals this year is to revamp that whole thing because I have a lot of great files that I don't have on there yet from various summits. But that is on my to-do list for the next couple months. So hopefully, and you can get to the store through my website too, if you're interested in seeing what's out there. What is my giveaway? My giveaway is a $100 Amazon gift card. There you go. So who doesn't need something from Amazon, right? Especially, that's actually a good, like if you're thinking about purchasing a machine, say like you don't have one, but you've thought about it, $100 goes a pretty long way towards a machine, and especially a Joy or a Joy Extra. And often you can get the Joy, like they'll go on sale, and the Joy you can get for $99 often, and the Joy Extra you can sometimes get for $129. So that's one that the Joy Extra is my favorite. So, and that supports print and cut. So if you're interested in print and cut, that is the one I recommend for beginners. Unless you really want to do things that are 12 inches wide. Like if you're a 12 by 12 scrapbooker or something, then you would want to get one of the larger machines. Like I have a Maker. But otherwise, if you're just a card maker, you can do almost anything on really the Joy. But the Joy does have the limited cutting, so you can't cut wider than 4.25 on a mat. on like for one dimension. You can go up to 12 otherwise. The Joy, you can go as wide as 8.25. And so for the Joy Extra. And that's my favorite. Amy asks, how did the Black Sheep 303 name come about? I always get this question. So I am the black sheep of my family. I did not follow the path that my parents wanted me to. So I'm kind of a free spirit in that sense. So I'm the black sheep, not in like a weird, terrible way. It's more kind of a inside joke, really. But I think we all feel a little bit like black sheep sometimes, right? Like you feel like you're just a little bit of a different outsider, maybe. And then 303 is one of the area codes for Denver, and I live in Denver, Colorado. So that's where that came from. When I was starting, well, yeah, I mean, I've started this way long time ago, but when I was first starting, like I wanted to be black sheep like .com, and that was taken, or blacksheepcreative.com, and that was taken. So I had to throw in the 303. So that's why that's there. But I'm good with it. I love Denver, so I'm happy to have it in there. Is it possible to make it more of a 5x7 size? Yeah, for sure. You'd have to like increase the size in Cricut Design Space. I'm trying to think of what's the easiest way to do that. Boy. There'd be a little math involved in calculating that out, because it's not just a matter of, because the box pieces are like sized to fit the A2, but they're not A2 sizes per se, if that makes sense. It's not like a card base that you could just like make bigger. Well, the folded dimension, like this dimension, is 5.5. So you could increase the size in Cricut Design Space up to 7, I guess. But there we go. Loretta's going to do some math. Good. That sounds good. Yeah, the tricky part is just that the pieces, when you look at them in Cricut Design Space, are not like 4.25 by 5.5. If you download the free Mother's Day, are you entered into the giveaway? No, the giveaway is a separate entry. So you'd have to go to the giveaways page that I think they showed just a second ago to enter the giveaway. There you go. So cardmakersuccesssummit.com/giveaway, and then look for that graphic with my black Amazon gift card. Well, I always like to tell people, what are the main differences in the Cricut machines? I want to get one, but unsure which one. I hear you recommending the Joy. Okay, Jean. Well, so the main differences would be that, so you've got the Venture's the really big one and the most expensive. I mean, and that's going to cut, I think, 24 inches wide and like feet long. So if you need something that big, like you want to make big vinyl wall decals or something, then maybe that's the one for you. The Maker series is the one that would allow you to do like fancier things like engraving or cutting thicker materials like balsa wood or chipboard, or like very, engraving on metal, those kinds of things. It's, fairly straightforward to do that with the Maker. And any of the Maker machines, like the original through 4. The Explorer series machines, and the Maker cuts 12 inches wide. You can get as long as a 24-inch mat. So I guess it's technically like 11.5 inches wide by 23.5 is the longest you can cut, unless you do matless materials, which would be the Cricut Maker 3 or 4 can do those. And, under warranty, you can technically do it with the Maker, but I shouldn't encourage that, because that could mess up your machine, maybe. Then you can cut longer. You can cut a little bit wider, and you can cut long, like really long materials. And you can cut more materials. Like the Maker will cut fabrics. What else will it cut? Like heavier weight materials. It has more pressure in the carriage, so it can do more with thicker materials, if that makes sense. The Explorer series, which would be like the original through 4, is more of like a paper crafting vinyl machine, but it can cut that wider dimension. So it can cut the 11.5 inches wide up to, I don't know if it's, yeah, you can use the 24-inch mat in the Explorer. And then you can also cut matless in the 3 and 4 for those. And then the Joy and the Joy Extra are like the Explorer. So they really only cut vinyl and cardstock per se. But they're smaller, like a lot, like quite a bit smaller. So I don't know if I can turn my camera here a little bit. You can see over here, like that's the Maker. And then below it, that's the Joy. So quite a bit difference. Oh my goodness. It's over already. Wow. Well, but anyway, but I would recommend the Joy Extra, which we've got here, because it's still portable, but it's a big enough size that you can do card making on it for sure. And there are things you can cut on these. You can engrave on them, and you can do other things that you can learn about from from my summits in the past. But you can do more with those machines than they really advertise them as. So I'm a good source for info on that stuff. So if you kind of want to dabble in like engraving, there's a way to get around it with both the Joy and the Joy Extra. Well, thanks, you guys. That went really fast. I'm shocked. Usually it takes a little bit longer. And I feel like I get to ramble more, but I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. I hope you download the card, and I'd love to see if you make the card, please post a picture in the Facebook group, because I love seeing them. And I love seeing how you guys make them your own and add your own touches and that kind of thing. So thanks. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend being crafty and making cards.